Good morning, welcome to Catex TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, 2015. If you want to follow us on Twitter, go to Catex TV. A friend of ours, Toby Esser, the Chief Executive Officer of London-based wholesale and reinsurance broker Cooper Gay, Sweat & Crawford, has resigned. He resigned last night. This is according to the company. They said that non-executive chairman Martin Sullivan, who used to be the CEO of AIG, is going to assume Esser's responsibilities until a new successor is found. In a statement, Esser, who remains a significant shareholder in the group, said, "I've been privileged to be part of the growth at Cooper Gay over the past 30 years. Cooper Gay has been faced with a number of challenges recently, including delays in developing its Latin American business, as well as integrating the acquisition of Newman, Martin, and Buchan, a London-based broker that it acquired. Standard & Poor's downgraded Cooper Gay's issuer rating from B to B- last August. Cooper Gay also, in 2010, under Esser's directive, merged with a major U.S. wholesale broker, Sweat & Crawford, to create a global wholesale and reinsurance broker. We wish Toby well, and we'll see how this develops. A very interesting court verdict came yesterday in the United States Federal Court of Claims. Maurice Hank Greenberg, the former CEO of AIG, has secured a victory in court against the U.S. government. This seemed unbelievably unlikely about a year ago. But Judge Thomas Wheeler of the Federal Court of Claims found that the U.S. Federal Reserve had exceeded its authority in the 2008 bailout of AIG, but it refused to award any compensation to Mr. Greenberg's Star Insurance Group. Wheeler explained that the U.S. Federal Reserve's action of taking 79.9% of the equity ownership in AIG constituted an illegal extraction under the Fifth Amendment. He said there is no law permitting the Federal Reserve to take over a company and run its business in the commercial world as consideration for a loan. But then the judge added the inescapable conclusion is that the next week, AIG would have had to have declared bankruptcy anyway, making that the value of the shareholders' common stock would have been zero, so he declined to award any of the $40 billion worth of damage that Mr. Greenberg had been seeking. Well, in the past few weeks, we've been reading about a bit of a spat between Suncor Insurance in Australia and Berkshire Hathaway. I'm sure that spat might become a little bit more vitriolic right now, because Berkshire Hathaway has acquired a 3.7% stake in Insurance Australia Group, which is a major competitor of Suncor. Berkshire is going to take a 20% quota share of Insurance Australia's consolidated insurance business over the next 10 years. The Australian insurer expects that the arrangement is going to result in a reduced capital requirement of about $700 million over the next 5 years. And of course, they're also going to be able to shrink their reinsurance buying by about 20% on everything. IAG said it would not be looking to restructure its current cat cover, which runs until the last day of 2015, but the changes would be coming on the 2016 placement. The second named storm of the 2015 Atlantic tropical storm and hurricane season formed a few hours ago. This is Tropical Storm Bill. It's formed in the Gulf of Mexico. It's heading toward Texas in the Houston area. Schools in Houston have already been closed. Flooding issues could come back to the state, which has been plagued by it over the past 5 weeks. The storm's about 80 miles off the coast of Texas right now. It's expected to bring a storm surge of as much as 4 feet. But the rain is going to be the major problem. Rainfall totals are projected to be about 10 to 12 inches in most areas, including Harris County and Houston, which is already inundated with rain. At least 17 people have been killed and 70 hurt when a train and a truck collided southwest of the Tunisian capital of Tunis. Many of the dead were on the train. According to the Interior Ministry, the death toll is going to rise. An apartment building balcony collapsed earlier today in Berkeley, California, killing 5 people, leaving 8 others very seriously injured. Most of the dead were Irish students, apparently. The police received a call shortly before 1 a.m. They found that a balcony on the 4th floor of an apartment building had just simply disintegrated. Police are investigating, and they don't have any information as to how the collapse occurred or whether the balcony was overcrowded or not. This is not good news for the global stock markets, but Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras today defied what he called an attempt to, quote, humiliate his government, saying that an insistence by international lenders on further cuts was politically motivated. He said, the mandate we got from the Greek people when I was elected is to end the austerity policy. To achieve that, we have to find a deal with the creditors that will spread the burden evenly and which won't hurt wage earners and pensioners. His comments came right after the deadlock over the weekend between Athens and its creditors ruptured into the public view. There is now open discussion and planning going on in the Eurozone and the International Monetary Fund for a Greek default, which will occur if things continue sometime next week when several payments are due. Last night in Chicago, the Chicago Blackhawks defeated the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup. The hockey season, which seemingly began years ago, actually training camp, I believe, opened in September, has now finally concluded. Next to conclude will be basketball. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.